Hello and welcome to Reviews. As always, I'm Plume Noir, and this is House of X number 2. Now, I'm just going to tell you, this is huge. This is a game changer. So, I'm going to tell you right now, there will be spoilers. There's just no way to talk about this issue without it being spoilers. So, I'm going to give you some time here. Hey, here we got butterscotch here. Oh, don't step on that. She hasn't been in videos lately. It's been JR coming up. Anyway, I'm going to give you some time here before I get into the book. I'm going to talk around the book first, because if you're planning on reading this, go read it. Go read it right now. Go pick it up, whatever format, and then read it, because this is huge. So huge spoilers. I highly recommend, reading it first. There's no other way I can talk about this in any way, shape, or form. So you notice I have a variant cover. Excuse me. I've said many times I'm not into variants, but my comic shop was out of them. I had to go to my backup shop, and all they had left was the variant. I got cover price, so I'm okay with that. And it's Scotty Young. And, I have a soft spot for Scotty Young. He does the fun, like, little Marvel characters. I forget what his strip used to be called. But anyway, yeah, I like him, and it's fun, so. And this is a cute little cover with Cyclops saying, what should I go with today? 90s or early 2000s? You see, he has the Jim Lee costume versus the Frank Quitely, and Marvel girl Jean Grey just says, superhero fashion rule number 17: when in doubt, go with pouches. Yeah. So anyway, it's a cute little cover. Got all those visors and everything. The back of the cover, which not all of Marvel Comics are doing this. I don't know if the regular edition was doing this. I know. Oh, gee, why is everybody walking on this today? The new Carnage book had this. Some of the books lately have been having just a page, like the Avengers have been doing that. Just a page on the last page of the book, like a little one-page story that have been kind of stupid. I thought that's what this was at first, that it was just one page, but no, it's actually an ad for an alt band called Joywave, their new song called Obsession. And it's a cute little thing where it's, they're going out to fight, and Cap talks about listening, what they have going through their heads, music when they're fighting, and Cap talks about soul music that from the 70s that Nick Fury gave him. So Iron Man suggests Joywave. And so, yeah, he's able to get it in vinyl, and here's the album. I went ahead, I looked it up on YouTube. This is the new song, and found a live version of it. It's okay. It's hard to tell, because I didn't really think that the sound on the video was pretty good, but it sounded okay. Maybe I'll listen to it once it's, I can hear the actual quality of the live recording, but I'm thinking, wow, what a weird place for a band to advertise. At this point, it'd be probably cheaper to just put one of those rolling billboards, they have on the back of the truck, and drive around the city for a day. More people would see it than on a Marvel comic anymore. So, yeah, it was just kind of interesting. But I just want to talk about the book to give some time about the spoilers. Because what Hickman had said about that one page being so important, he was right. And so let's go ahead. We're going to flip on in. We have this little comment here. If you can find it in you to survive, if you are worthy, then I will make you into something more than them, something eternal. An Apocalypse quote. And where is the opening page here? I just noticed. I just wanted to point out they list the variant cover artists. And yeah, they left poor Scotty Young out of this. Maybe this was a last-minute addition before, that they weren't originally planning. So we find out that Moira McTaggart, longtime human friend of the X-Men, assistant Charles Xavier's lover at some points, she is actually, here's the big reveal, she is a mutant. Not only is she a mutant, she is undetectable to other mutants. So basically, what her power is reincarnation. Now, she doesn't just like respawn after, um, after she dies or anything. No, what she does is she is reborn back into her original body. Think of it like, kind of Groundhog Day. Actually, you know what? Butterfly Effect. You ever see the movie Butterfly Effect with the alternate ending, which, as far as I'm concerned, is the better ending? Yeah, that is what she's going through. When she's back in the womb, she has all the memories of her previous lives. So, the first life she goes through, it's relatively normal. Um, she ends up dying at the age of like 76. And as she discovers her power, she doesn't know what it is. She ends up meeting with Professor X. Um, and yeah, she ends up, going through these lives and trying things differently. She makes little changes. Um, she ends up in one of her lives when she discovers a cure for being a mutant. Destiny and Mystique hunt her down. And it's Destiny that tells her that she only has 10, maybe 11 lives to go through. She thinks, Moira thinks she can just keep being reborn over and over. But Destiny, and we have to take Destiny at her word. She says she has 10, maybe 11 lives, if she's lucky, because her power is reincarnation. Um, but Mystique says, if you keep doing this, keep coming up with a cure, you know, um, we'll come after and kill you in every life. And, Moira says, I'm not going to force this on people. I want people to have a choice if they don't want to be a mutant. She sees it as a curse. But Destiny points out that, yeah, she may have the good intentions, but people are going to use this against her and against mutants, and eventually it won't be a choice. Now, I understand in a heavy dialogue page like this, where it's just basically pages of two heads talking back and forth, you have to make it visually interesting, but sometimes here it really kind of gets out of hand. Especially when you have Destiny, when she has her mask on and, it's emotionless. We get this weird panel like this here where it looks like the top of Destiny's head is talking. And yeah, you can have, Moira emote here, but you can only do so much with Destiny. And, pull back here, you have some hand motions, but, just do these sides, it almost looks like she's talking to a statue. It's almost hard to tell exactly what you're looking at. Took me a moment before I realized this is actually the front of Destiny's mask, because she does have really the eye things on there. It's supposed to be the cheekbone. I don't really want to take anything about this issue away, but this really bothered me. Maybe it's just me, but I'm going to skip a lot of pages because I want to get to the end. Um, so what happens is Moira, here, Destiny and Mystique have Pyro burn her to death, but slowly, so she remembers how it feels to die, in agony in her next life. And so she tries various different ways. At one point, she and Professor X form the X-Men early, but they end up, getting killed. They try to form a city far away from everything called Far Away, and ends up the Sentinels come and annihilate them. So she goes out and tries to take out the entire Trask family, who invented mutants. But that doesn't work out. She joins Magneto. She joins Apocalypse. Tries any different way, and each thing keeps failing. So I'm going to get to the page because I got to skip a whole bunch of pages. So again, we do get the page we see repeated again where when she meets up with Xavier and tells her to read her mind, and we see that look on his face, and so now it all makes sense. But here's one of the best parts of the book: the Moira timeline. She says, "I am here. I've always been here. Moira X." So here we have the timeline of her life. So we have each of the lives here. shows that, she's born, year age, she enrolls in the academy. It all circles around at age 13 when her mutant power of reincarnation manifests. And like Destiny and Mystique tell her that, if she were to die when she is 7 years old, that's it, she's done no matter what. Um, they told her she could live 10 lives, powers of X, powers of 10, House of X. Um, but we don't know, how, we're relying on Destiny. She could be lying, she could be telling the truth. And these charts are actually really neat. How she goes around trying, different ways. And we see here that, here she goes to America in this life. She goes over early to meet Xavier. And Moira meets Cass Cowan, does not fall in love. Here's where she falls in love with her husband, her first husband. This is the life where she basically grows old and, has her kids. But each of these lives is pretty interesting, because here's the one where she wakes Apocalypse. Apocalypse kills Xavier. Apocalypse kills Magneto. Here's where she rejects Xavier and then joins Magneto. That didn't go well. We're right now in the 10th timeline, her 10th life. Now remember, she has been reincarnating all this time. Now just think, she's gone to Oxford. So when she is a newborn, she has a college education. She has a grad student, a post-grad education, So of course, she can start going younger. She has all that. She is basically, God, the cats are really all over today. She is for lack of a better word, a prodigy. And they talk about that, the way these words are thrown around about her. But really, it's stuff that she's already learned. She might have to brush up on a few things. And my soda bottle popped there. So she already has a leg up. And so we go through the timeline. Here's where Apocalypse enslaves Sinister. The Apocalypse War begins. And, it's kind of uncertain after that. But here in this timeline, Moira and Magneto and Xavier recruit Magneto. The schism they have, the genocide at Genosha. And here we have, excuse me, she fakes her death. This is the Shi'ar Golem, where, she supposedly died from the legacy virus and the House of X. So, yeah, this is so fascinating. Excuse me, my voice is cutting out here. Because one other thing is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What was life 6? What happened in that life? And let me go back here. There was the one life where she died in the plane crash early. Was that her 6th life? Let's go back here. I'm actually losing count because I've read this through a couple times here, and it's each time I read it, my mind is a little bit blown. I actually did not think I'd be able to go this long because I'm trying so hard not to spoil things, and I think I've gone past it. Let me go back to the beginning because now we're at the real big thing, excuse me, I've been wanting to talk about. Where does her plane crash? I know I went past it. So when she went to see Xavier early. Yeah, I know I've got past it at this point. I wonder if that was year 6. Anyway, year 6 is strangely missing. I've already gone past it. Anyway, think about this. She's in her 10th life. And she's reborn into each of her lives over and over. And she starts off in her exact body. What this means is that Moira has been rebooting the Marvel Universe over and over. I mean, think about everything that goes on, what the X-Men are tied into, how she changes things. Think about, like, the House of X. Not the House of X, the Age of Apocalypse. And how Legion made, the change of killing Xavier accidentally, and boom, that changed the timeline. And like they said, it wasn't an alternate universe, it was that universe changed over, but then they walked back on that statement. But anyway, she has been changing the Marvel Universe each and every time. that she's been doing this. Now, Marvel tends to go with that whole branching universe thing that, you can't, you're not supposed to be able to time travel in the same universe. Um, if you go back to the past and change something, you've diverged it. If you go to the future, it's not the actual future, but it's one of many probable futures. But this makes it look like that Moira has been rebooting the Marvel Universe all this time. That puts Moira at like Omega level. That makes her one of the most powerful, mutants to be able to do this. And with all her knowledge of everything that could happen, how people would, excuse me, react, it doesn't mean she can see the future. She makes mistakes. She's trying to get to the good ending. She's trying to get to the, not the bad ending, but the good ending. So she's restarting like a video game character. But yeah, this is really huge, and I have to give Hickman credit on this. Now think about like when Hickman was on the Avengers and he was setting up the incursions, which eventually led up to the newest Secret War, which destroyed the universe and everything. So Hickman can work, he's trusted enough to work with huge storylines that can affect the entire universe. And we know that the Marvel mutant side of the universe is kind of restarting in fall here. And this is the House of X and Powers of X are leading up to that. Um, so yeah, we're seeing Moira have this amazing power that has been secret all this time. They've kept it under wraps. Now you would think that there'd be certain things in the history of the Marvel universe that she should have known, that they still got blindsided by. She should have known that Apocalypse would eventually come and that sort of thing. Maybe she was helping Xavier prepare all this time. I don't know. But this is huge. I mean, this is the key to being able to do crazy reboots at the end of this. Because, like Destiny says, she has 10 lives and maybe 11 if she makes the right choice at the end. What does that mean? I don't know. Wish I could find that one page here where she went to meet Xavier and the plane crashed. Where was that at? Oh yeah, this is it here. Um, she jumped at the first flight she could to find that she could find to America and died when her plane crashed into the ocean. Does it say which life this was in? It can't be the sixth life because it's right at the beginning of the book. So, yeah, what is her sixth life? What is I gotta be careful what I'm showing here. Like I said, 'cause I wanted to skip to the end. That's why I talked so much at the beginning here, like I did to give people plenty of preparation. So that would have been one of her first lives, but those all seem to go into the 40s and. So what life was that when she died early like that? Anyway, I was blown away by this. I cannot express how cool this is and how mind blowing and how unexpected this was. To have Moira all this time have that kind of power and her be rebooting the Marvel universe, over and over the way she has. And as we see by the X-Men and Apocalypse, their interactions with the rest of the universe, the universe has been changing because of her actions, because she knows what she did in the previous life. A full 12 o'clock on this. I thought about going like 11:30 because of the art on those couple pages with Destiny's Head, but I'm going to let that slide because this was very good. I cannot compliment it enough. Seriously, if you're not following this, start following it. Start picking up this book. It is good. And like I said, my backup comic shop is closing down, so pick up the book. Your local comic shops need all the help they can get. So, yeah, 12 o'clock. Love this book. So, as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.